Best Practices and Emerging Trends Committee is a committee of SAWA, the Society of Animal Welfare Administrators. And SAWA merged a couple of years ago with the National Federation of Humane Societies. And it was actually the National Federation that had this committee and was starting to work on creating best practices. So that best practice committee of the Federation had started with transportation because transporting animals across large distances is something that's fairly new to our industry. And we felt like there was a broad spectrum of how well it was being done, from very, very well to very, very poorly and potentially illegally. So we felt like more and more is going to happen. We saw this trend increasing dramatically over time, and we think there's going to be even more coming. So it seemed like an area where we wanted to have an impact early on in the process so that it could be done well, and we would start to see fewer and fewer of these transports that are being done poorly and make sure the animals are being taken care of.
And to add to that, the National Fed at one point did have a best practice for animal transport, and there's others out there in the industry as well. ASB has written a best practice, or there's a transport part of the sheltering best practices, and a lot of them weren't aligned. We were finding that as we looked at the best practice that the National Fed had out and the other things that were written by the ASB or the ABMA, there was not a lot of alignment in the recommendations. So when writing the SAWA best practice, we kind of took all of those pieces into consideration to make sure that they aligned as closely as possible. They're not identical documents by any means, but trying to get them a little bit more on the same page so that people really could focus on the best practice and know that, well, this one says this and this one says something completely different. So trying to get them, there are some key differences, but trying to get them a little bit closer together so that they made sense for people using them.